Travis Kelce, you need to retire. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, welcome back to the podcast. And let's get started on this week. So, as you can tell, this week was quite crazy. My Chiefs basically got eliminated from the playoffs this week. We'll get to talking about that later. So, we're going to start things off with talking about how last week went. Prediction-wise, I was pretty good. I was a couple games off, I believe. I didn't pick the Chiefs right, and we'll get into more of that here in a little bit. But first, we're going to go through the game slate like it was, and then we're going to pick some new games after I bring up some news. There's some big Colts news that we're going to be talking about. But first, let's get into Thursday night's game. I really like this game between the Cowboys and the Lions. The Lions were pretty much in control of this game. The Cowboys were working back from behind a lot for most of the game, really. Their offense really didn't get going in the first half. As you can see, they only scored 9 points at halftime. This Lions offense was rolling. And an interesting stat, the Lions are actually 8-0 this season when this is a real stat, when Jahmyr Gibbs scores a rushing touchdown. You know what's crazy? They're 8-5. The Lions are 8-5. And guess what? They're 0-5 when Jahmyr Gibbs does not have a touchdown. And in most of those games, he has 3 or more touchdowns. That's insane. Speaking of Jahmyr Gibbs, he had a legendary day for the Detroit Lions. 12 rushes, 43 yards, but 3 rushing touchdowns. David Montgomery actually led them in rushing, but that's not what I really want to talk about. What I really want to talk about is they had 7 catches for 77 yards. On top of that, his longest reception was 26 yards through the air. Isaac Tesla, I love this guy, or Tesla, or whatever you just want to say. You know, he does a lot of things with YouTubers and whatnot. He caught a really nice football in the back corner of the end zone in this game. So when it comes to the Lions offense, looking great. Jared Goff, another amazing performance. Only had 1 passing touchdown, but that's because there was 4 rushing ones. Jared Goff, fantastic day. Dak Prescott, 31 of 47, 376, 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions. The 2 interceptions really hurt, especially the 5 sacks. It also hurt his QBR. You get into the rushing side of things. Javonte Williams didn't have a bad day, just wasn't the Javonte Williams that we've seen so far this season. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. George Pickens actually kind of took a seat back in this game. He was targeted a lot, again, by Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb just caught more passes today. So I think ever since I made that claim that CeeDee Lamb was a better wide receiver, or George Pickens was a better wide receiver than CeeDee Lamb, I'm pretty sure that CeeDee Lamb has performed better since then. Then you got this other wide receiver, and I do believe CeeDee Lamb was also injured in this game. Hopefully he comes back with a speedy recovery. I think it was a concussion. It did not look good. Did not look good at all. But this backup third-string receiver like Flournoy, I don't even know who this guy is. He caught 9 passes, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty dang good, if you ask me. That guy's a keeper. KaVontae Turpin, they tried to involve him in the pass and rushing game. Really didn't go over so well. Returning the ball-wise, he wasn't terrible. He had 176 return yards. So he's actually pretty dang good. He averaged 25 yards a return. I don't normally talk about returns so much on the channel, but I really do like it when there's big returns, and we'll get to a big return in a later game. But first, let's go to Pittsburgh-Baltimore. So this game I didn't really watch. I heard Aaron Rodgers had a pretty dang good day, 23 of 34, 280 and 1. Pretty dang good. He also somehow had a rushing touchdown. That was really cool. That kind of brought me back to the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers days. If you remember what those were like, leave a like in the comments. Next, we have Lamar Jackson. Another day where it's just, I don't know what's going on with this Ravens offense. I didn't watch this game. I'm assuming that Lamar just wasn't that great. He went 19 of 35 for 220 and won because he threw an interception. He was sacked twice. On the ground, Derrick Henry under 100 rushing yards yet again. No rushing touchdown there. Lamar did have a rushing touchdown on the ground. Zay Flowers still looking like a pretty dang good receiver. Yeah. I mean, other than that, the Steelers are probably going to win this division, unless I would say unless other things happen. But I'm pretty sure they've got it in the bag, unless they just don't fold. Which normally at this part of the season, this is the time, if you know anything about Pittsburgh Steelers football, they pretty much win enough to get the playoffs, and then they'll probably lose first round. But, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers has some tricks up his bag, up in his sleeve, in his bag, something like that. Anyways, Jacksonville, Indianapolis. Gosh, this game, dude. I'm going to get into the news about this a little bit later, but God, this one just hurts. Not Chris Jones. Come on now. He was really good for the Chiefs. I'll get to him later. Daniel Jones out with the season-ending injury of an Achilles. That is not good at all. He already had a fractured fibula or tibia or something like that in his leg, and he was playing through it. What a guy. Yeah. Tibia and Achilles. Not a good combination. Riley Leonard did come in and had most of the snaps because his injury was in the first quarter. Daniel Jones's was. Riley Leonard, not a terrible day, not a great day. He threw an interception. They really just tried to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor. After the fact, sadly, Jonathan Taylor only had 74 rushing yards. I mean, this Jacksonville defense has gotten a lot better since the Chiefs played them in Week 3. And that's saying something because I think it was Week 3. It was like Week 2, Week 3, Week 4, something like that. Somewhere in the beginning of the season. Might have been Week 5, where the Jaguars played the Chiefs. I relate to the Chiefs a lot because I'm a Chiefs fan. Sanchez, decent punting the ball because they did a lot of it. Sorry, Pat McAfee. Yeah, apparently they do punt a lot, just not against the Titans because the Titans suck. With that being said, though, I did want to touch on something with the Jaguars. Oh, yeah, that's right. Trevor Lawrence, looking pretty dang efficient. He had no rushing touchdowns on the ground this time. Thank goodness. He did have 2 passing touchdowns, however, and he did also have 16 rushing yards. But Travis Etienne, Jr., mind you, Jr., was looking pretty good. Brian Thomas Jr. probably back in stride a little bit, finally. Didn't have a touchdown. Those went to Patrick and Myers. I think that's Tim Patrick, I believe. I believe that's Tim Patrick. It is. Tim Patrick, he played for the Broncos for a little bit, didn't he? Anyways, I'm getting off my rocker here. Good team win for the Jags. You've probably secured yourself the South. Now, this was not expected. This was one of the games I got wrong for sure. Tampa Bay, wow, have you cooled off? I talked about it last week, and I think I talked about it the week before. Tampa Bay has just cooled off. I mean, cooler than a dying star. We'll put it that way. They were really hot to start the season, and now they're 7-6. They're 7-6, and they just lost to now the 3-10 were the 2-10 New Orleans Saints. I expected the Bucs to win this game. Yeah, that didn't happen. Baker Mayfield, not a great day. He's had better days. Bucky Irving, decent on the ground. The Bucs really didn't have any stats that blew me away. Now, Tyler Shook, pretty good day, other than he threw 1 interception and no touchdowns. Devin Neal really did it for him on the ground. That KU running back, man. KU fans, I really didn't believe you at the beginning of the year. I did know Devin Neal was a good running back. I didn't think that he was going to be able to be as efficient as he is right now in the NFL. And, 20 rushes for 70 yards and a rushing touchdown ain't bad for starting the season as a backup or third-string running back. That's pretty good. I think you got your running back of the future, especially because you've had Alvin Kamara for so long, and now you get a good Kansan and Devin Neal. For the rest of the Saints, they really didn't do much. They just beat the Bucs. I didn't really watch this game, but I hear it was a good game. Now, Miami Dolphins destroying the Jets. I predicted this one. This one was pretty easy to predict. Tua with another decent day, but really it came from, is that Javon Wright? Do I have that name right? I think it's Jalen Wright. That's my bad. Jalen Wright, fantastic. I think that's a career day for him on the ground. Jalen Wright and Devon Achane getting it done on the ground. In total, 199 on the rushing yards in total. 297. 298? Somebody fix my math. I mean, it's got 107 and 92, so I think it's 297 or 298. Total rushing yards on the ground and 2 total touchdowns with a total of 31 carries. This was an amazing game for them on the ground. Jalen Waddle also pitching in on this one good run play that they had. I think it was a end around or a jet sweep, something like that. Ollie Gordon, this man needs to get more playing time. I don't know why they aren't playing him. Oh, wait, that's right, because they have these 2 running backs in front of him. Yeah, I will say, best running back core in the National Football League right now is definitely the Miami Dolphins, without a question. In my opinion, Devon Achane, dog. Jalen Waddle, decent through the air. Remember, they don't have Tyreek Hill. They haven't had it for a while. But good win. The Jets suck. Who did the Jets have at quarterback? Tyrod Taylor threw 1 pass. No, he threw 4 passes. Who came in? Is that Brady Cook? Brady Cook came in and actually didn't have a terrible day there for the Jets. The Brady Cook, he's a rookie, right? I think he's a rookie. He played for Missouri, or Mizzou. Ugh, I can't stand Mizzou. 14-30, 163, 2 interceptions. Not terrible. Not bad. Not great. Breece Hall, I'm sorry for you. I wish the Chiefs would have gotten you. Mason Taylor, the LSU guy, 5 catches, 51 yards. Not bad. 3 first downs. But long story short, you got destroyed by the Dolphins. I don't know why, but the Miami Dolphins always seems around this time of the year, especially the last couple of years, always put themselves in a spot to where they either need other teams to win or lose for them, or these other teams need them to win or lose for them. It's the weirdest thing ever to make the playoffs is what I'm trying to mean. Like the Chiefs could use a couple wins out of the Miami Dolphins this next couple of weeks. Next, we get the Commanders. Goodness. Just for a news update really quickly, Jalen Daniels is not going to be playing this next week. He is out with another elbow injury. I don't get it. I would have sat Jalen Daniels. If I am the general manager of the Washington Commanders, you are 3-10. I mean, right now you're 3-10 after this loss. Before this, you were 3-9. And a couple of weeks ago, you were like 3-7 or something like that, 2-7. Why are you starting your young franchise quarterback when you know that he's been banged up and you know there's no shot at the playoffs? I'm just saying, you should put yourselves in a position, especially since you were in the NFC Championship game. I get it that if he wants to play, I get it. Like right now, I'm highly considering if the Chiefs lose this next week, I want the Chiefs to sit Patrick Mahomes. And the reason I say that is because Patrick Mahomes has got a knee injury that's probably been bugging him. Who knows? He might need a procedure to go in and clean up his meniscus or something like that. He's had lower leg injuries. In my opinion, if we're not going to make the postseason, we need to sit Patrick Mahomes. And the reason I say that is because we need to sustain the longevity. He's not 24 anymore, America. He's 30. He's a 30-year-old. He needs to be conserved if the Chiefs want a chance at re-energizing this dynasty. I don't think it's over. The Patriots dynasty lasted for 20 years. Not quite that much, but within that 20 years, that's when it happened. So I don't think, and there was a year the Patriots, they might have made the playoffs and lost in the wild card and things like that, but people never doubted them. I don't think the Chiefs dynasty is over if we don't make the playoffs. With that all being said, I'll talk about the Chiefs more here in a minute. Commanders, your quarterback's not playing this week. Don't try and get him back this season. Just don't. You're not making the playoffs. You're already eliminated. Do not put your future of your franchise in harm's way. Speaking of future of the franchise, holy cow, J.J. McCarthy, I think he was sick and tired of hearing all the flack. 16-23, 163, 3 passing touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times, but a fairly efficient game from J.J. McCarthy. You could argue that not all of them were crazy. I still do think that Jefferson going 2 for 11 is kind of criminal. That's terrible. He was targeted 4 times. I don't know the whole premise on this because numbers aren't the whole story. So who knows? J.J. McCarthy just might have had a decent day. Excuse me. And that Washington defense is terrible. It's god awful. So big win there for the Minnesota Vikings. I spent more on these two teams talking about the Chiefs than I did these two actual teams. But I digress. Tennessee Titans get their second win of the season. Congratulations. And against the Cleveland Browns, where Shedeur Sanders actually pretty much had this game won for the Cleveland Browns. Their defense is pitiful. I can't believe I'm saying that. The Cleveland Browns defense is pitiful. I actually can't believe I'm saying that because the only likable thing on that defense, other than maybe a couple of their linebackers, is Myles Garrett. Everything else, not great. You have like one good linebacker, one good D lineman, and one good DB, and that's about it. Welcome to, and we're the Cleveland Browns. So, with that being said, Cam Ward, fairly efficient day, not amazing. Tony Pollard, holy cow, this guy went off. 25 rushes, I almost said receptions, 25 rushes, 161, and 2 rushing touchdowns. With that also being said, Tyler Spears, led the room in receiving yards. He led the room in receiving yards with 28 yards. So you mean to tell me that the team with apparently the highest paid, a.k.a. the best, you could say Micah Parsons is the best because he is the highest paid, whatever. We'll get to the Packers here in a minute. You mean to tell me the team with one of the best edge rushers, run stuffers in our generation could not stop Tony Pollard and the 1-10 Tennessee Titans, or the 1-11 Tennessee Titans, from winning? That's crazy to me. Tyler Spears, the running back, led the room in receiving with 28 yards. It's crazy to me. Just crazy. Nuts. I did want to look at Shedeur's numbers here. Shedeur, 23 of 42, 364, 3 passing touchdowns, and of course 1 interception. And he also led the room in rushing. It's pretty bad. I've seen this week and weeks prior, it's pretty bad when you have your quarterback leading your room in rushing. That is not good because that means, guess what? They don't have to worry about the run. And that means you pass a lot. And that also means, unless you're the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens, you don't run a lot of quarterback draw like they do. Okay? So, with that being said, if you lead your room in rushing and you're a quarterback, that's a no-no. With that also being said, Quinshon Judkins had 14 carries for 26 yards. Not good. Shedeur Sanders, 4 total touchdowns on the day because he had 1 rushing touchdown. I love this kid. Love him. I also love Harold Fanning Jr. I think his name's Harold. I think it is Harold Fanning Jr. from, do I know this one? Bowling Green. You can check me on that. 8 receptions, 114 and 1. Best tight end room in the NFL probably goes to the Cleveland Browns. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it probably does. They have David Njoku and Harold Fanning Jr. Harold Fanning Jr. I am so sorry. I am butchering your name right now. But fantastic. And they also had a Whitehart who, did nothing, but he played. He's a tight end. He probably blocked a lot. But yeah, Shedeur, bright spot for the Browns. You're 3-10. Whatever. Who cares? This game, I've been waiting for a snow game all season. And then we get this one. Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills, going back and forth. And it was in Buffalo. Cincinnati, this was funny. Cincinnati was predicted to lose by 6, and they lost by 5. So if you took the spread, I am so sorry. Not really, because I picked the Bengals to win this game because I said, Joe Burrow's going to ball out, and ball out he did. 25 of 36, 284 and 4. He also did have 2 interceptions, but both of those were really good. Well, one of them was, quote-unquote, gift-wrapped for the defensive end for the Buffalo Bills. Fantastic. I think it was Bernard who picked him off. But Joe Burrow also threw a really bad interception after that. So, whatever. Rushing-wise, Samaje Perine, the former Bengal, then the former Chief, and now the current Bengal, actually had 31 yards. He had a couple of decent plays in this game. Couple decent plays, even though he only had 31 rushing yards, because he also had one catch for 7 yards. Fantastic numbers right there. T. Higgins coming off the injury, and he had 92 yards receiving, leading the room. 2 receiving touchdowns, 11 targets, 6 receptions. That's not bad. Bengals just couldn't quite win it because Josh Allen was a freak as well. I don't know what it is when the Bengals and the Bills play, and then when the Bengals and the Ravens play. It's a common denominator that when the Bengals play, you could start either of those quarterbacks in fantasy because if Joe Burrow is healthy, because both quarterbacks ball out, because most of the time both defenses suck. Okay, so with that being said, Josh Allen, 22 of 28, very efficient, 251 and 3. He was also sacked 3 times, but he didn't throw any interceptions. Pretty good. James Cook fumbled the ball twice, not once, twice. Again, I don't know what's going on with James Cook. He was a fantastic running back at the beginning of the season, and he's fumbled the ball several times. And Josh Allen fumbled the ball, and it's just a fumble ball in Baltimore. Not Baltimore, Buffalo. Okay. With that being said, Josh Allen, 9 rushes, 78 yards. Good job. 1 rushing touchdown. James Cook not getting a rushing touchdown is criminal. All fantasy owners are mad right now because he lost 1 fumble, but he fumbled twice. So, but all that aside, pretty decent day for passing the football, and the Bills, holy cow, the last several minutes of this game, it was crazy. They're down so many points, they go down, they score a touchdown, and then Joe Burrow throws the ball right to the defensive end of the Bills, and he scores a 60-some-yard pick six. It was a beautiful, beautiful play. You could tell that Josh Allen wasn't expecting it because he drops back. It was a clearly drawn up like screenplay or something like that because he grabbed the ball and just threw it and didn't have time to see the guy. It was great. In the snow, there were snow angels and everything. You love watching snow games. Everyone loves. I think Baltimore averages like 1 or 2 snow games a year. 1 in the regular season and 1 in the playoffs. Probably about like that. And they're having a new stadium next year, which, by the way, the stadium seats, like all the fans, will be out of the elements. It'll be heated and cooled. But the field itself is wide open and will be exposed to all the elements. I don't know how they're pulling that off. It's like the shape of the roof, and there's a lot of science that goes into it. I had a C in science, so we're just going to move on. The Seattle Seahawks. Fantastic. This defense is ridiculous. And I told you about, I don't normally talk about returns, but oh my gosh, Rashid Shaheed, the former Saint. I was talking about the Saints earlier. 3 returns, 150 and 1 receiving kick return touchdown. And it was 100 yards. You're right, 100 yards. Fantastic day for Rashid Shaheed. It's playing down here in the bottom corner, which my thing's over it, but you can't see it. So I'm going to go ahead and X that out here. He was really good on the kick return. Really good. This defense, holy cow, they were good. 2 interceptions. But Sam Darnold playing really efficient. 20 of 32, 50 and 3 with 1 interception. Kirk Cousins, yeah. Bijan Robinson only getting 86 yards on the ground. That's an issue. I always talk about Bijan Robinson every single week. Let's move on. Broncos, Raiders. I really thought the Raiders could have won this game. I really do. I think the Broncos are the most fraudulent 11-2 team in NFL history. And you can quote me on that. I don't think they're going to go that far in the playoffs. And if they do, and they win every single game by less than a touchdown, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be livid. Just mad. I mean, like, how many points? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's the 7. That's 7. They won by 7 points against the 2-11 Oakland Raiders. That's embarrassing. Bo Nix, he had a decent day passing the football. He didn't throw a passing touchdown. What are we doing? 31 of 38. Yeah, that's efficient. Whatever. RJ Harvey, pretty decent. I mean, I'm looking at these numbers and I'm like, this looks like the Cleveland Browns numbers, and they won. They won because you have Geno Smith and Kenny Pickett on the other end. They didn't throw an interception this week. Congratulations, Raiders! You finally didn't turn the ball over at the quarterback position. Oh well, whatever. Ashton Genty, 10 rushes for 30 yards, and this Raiders team's a mess. I'm not even going to talk about this game anymore. I so badly wanted the Raiders to win, but just watching the game made me shed tears because it was so bad. Rams absolutely destroying the Cardinals, 45-17. The Cardinals never had a chance in this game. It was very clear from the very beginning. Did not have a chance. Matt Stafford, 22 of 31, 281 and 3. Blake Corum, I think that's his name, Blake Corum, looking pretty good. Kyren Williams trying to get back in the swing of things. Actually had one more carry and way less yards. Uh-oh. If you're in Los Angeles and you're a Rams fan, you have got good problems because you've got running backs splitting reps and you've got a quality difference between the two. I love Kyren Williams, but maybe Blake Corum is a better running back. If y'all know where Blake Corum's from, leave it down in the comments. UAB. Okay, so I think he's from UAB. I could be wrong. Anyways, 2 rushing touchdowns out of Blake Corum, 1 out of Kyren Williams. This kind of seemed like it was just a back and forth, see who was better. And then you had like Colby Parkinson's and Puka Nacua going off. I think his name's Colby. Is his name Colby? Yeah, Colby Parkinson, the tight end. You had Colby Parkinson, who was dog, by the way, and Puka Nacua going off on the offensive side of things. I say he was going off. I mean, he had a receiving touchdown and whatever. Anyways, it was really, actually, I mean, Devontae Adams had a decent day. His 30 yards isn't great, but they were all efficient. Cardinals, I'm just going to look at Kyler Murray's stats because I haven't seen him yet. Oh, wait. Joke's on you. Kyler Murray's not playing. It's Jacoby Brissett, who I believe threw a record amount of completions a couple weeks ago. That was kind of insane. 25 of 44, 271 and 2 with an interception. Like I said, Jacoby Brissett, if you're leading your team in rushing, that ain't no good. That's a no-no. All right, Chicago, Green Bay. Love this game. Chicago has had 5 games this season where they're losing in the fourth quarter, and they come back, and they have to try and win the game. I'm sorry, just 1 second here. But with that being said, they're losing, and they have to try and come back and win the game for everybody and their sanity when it comes to the not the Green Bay Packers, but the Chicago Bears. With that being said, they did put up a great fight against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers outplayed them in this game. I remember watching it. The Christian Watson touchdown to the house was probably my favorite part of this entire game. Oh, crap. Well, that sucks. My phone just died. So that was good. Yeah. Anyways, with that being said, nobody cares about that anymore. I don't know how any of the rest of this is going to go, but we'll figure it out as we go. Anyways, yeah, pretty good day for Caleb Williams, 19 of 35, 186 and 2. Jordan Love, 17 of 25, 234 and 3. Josh Jacobs, good day on the ground. Christian Watson, good day through the air. He also had 2 touchdowns, 1 deep bomb, and 1 jet pass. That was pretty cool. Or it was an end around or something like that, I think. Yeah, no, it was a jet pass. Caleb Williams, good with the football, except for that last play of the game. Second to last play because last play of the game for the Bears. They threw a touchdown, an interception in the end zone. I don't know why you don't just run and go get that first down. It was wide open. Just go get the first down, and you probably win this game. I'm just going to say right there, you probably win this game. Now you got Green Bay coming up in 2 weeks, and week 16. So, yeah, better luck there. Okay, now for the game that really broke my heart. The Houston Texans, Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, this was just not a good game. Sunday Night Football, it was not Sunday Night Football material. The Chiefs have 4 games coming up, and if they play like this, they're going to lose every single one of them. They're even going to lose the Titans if we play like this. C.J. Stroud, 15-31, 203-1. Woody Marks, good day on the ground. He played well. Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins actually was targeted several times on some deep balls, and he caught a couple of passes, but Nico Collins really tore us up, 121 receiving yards. And let's talk about the Chiefs, shall we? My favorite team. Mahomes, 14-33, 160, and 3 interceptions. Probably his worst stat line in his career. Now, the numbers, I always say, don't tell the full story, even though I'd like them to. You can just look at the targets to catches ratio. Xavier Worthy was targeted 4 times. He had 3 catches. Hollywood Brown was targeted twice. He had 1 catch. That one wasn't his fault. I'll talk about that in a second. Rashee Rice targeted 8 times. 4 catches. Thornton targeted 3 times. 2 catches. That one was a drop in the end zone. It technically wasn't a drop because the DB made a really good play on it. It was a really good play. Otherwise, that was a touchdown. I knew Thornton was going to catch that. Noah Gray, 2 wide open drops in the middle of the field. Travis Kelce, 1 for 5. Not great. 1 catch for 8 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 targets, 1 catch. Something that's very, very bad, it was the 3 interceptions, of course, and Butker missed a field goal, and we could talk about that all day. I'm just going to talk about a couple things really quick. Patrick Mahomes, 3 interceptions, not a great day. 2 of them, so one of them was not his fault. I will say this 100%. One of them was not his fault. It was the one to Kelce. The reason I say that, was it a hard catch? Probably. Does Kelce make that play, though? Yes. Kelce always makes that play, and unless it's last Sunday, because he bobbled it and tossed it over his shoulder and said Merry Christmas to the Texans because they sealed the deal pretty much right there. After that point, it was donezo. The other interception, that wasn't technically his fault, like Mahomes' fault. He probably shouldn't have thrown the ball, so maybe it is his fault. But it did hit Juju Smith-Schuster right in the hands. And what do you know? It popped up and was intercepted. He tried to force a ball where it shouldn't have been forced right over the middle of the field. And yeah, that happens. And then the other one was his fault. He was trying to take a deep shot downfield that he should not have taken. There were several other deep shots in the game that he most definitely should have taken. And he definitely shouldn't have taken this one. He underthrew Hollywood Brown. I know Patrick Mahomes underthrowing a football. It's not heard of. But he underthrew Hollywood Brown. And, it was intercepted. It was an easy pick. It was just like picking cherries. I mean, it was pretty easy. Mahomes, guess what? He led his team in rushing. I will say this over and over and over. If you lead your team in rushing, you're probably going to lose as a quarterback. Unless you're Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen and you're carrying the ball a lot on quarterback-designed runs. If you have a college offense, unless you're the Chiefs or the Browns or these other teams that have their quarterbacks leading their rushing room in rushing, that's not good. Patrick Mahomes was also playing injured. The one thing that people want to talk about this game the most is the 4th down call with like 5.5 minutes left in the game. You're on your own side of the field. It was like at the 36-yard line or something like that. You go for it. Earliest in the game in NFL history since the 60s or something like that. Nobody had gone for it on 4th down in a long, long time. I can't remember the exact time. That early in a game. It hasn't happened in a long time. And Andy Reid, who was normally pretty conservative, decides, you know what, I'm going for it. And we don't get it because Rashee Rice drops a pass. Now, was it necessarily Rashee Rice's fault? No. But I do want to point out something, okay? Kareem Hunt, the guy who kicked a hole in the locker room on his way out from the game last Sunday. I would too if I knew this. There's only been one time this season on 4th and short that he's failed a 4th down conversion. Matter of fact, the Chiefs are the best in the NFL when it comes to short yardage, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1, running the football. They're actually the best in the NFL. Not joking with that. They are 0-2 on fourth down conversions, hence last Sunday, when he is not on the field. So you mean to tell me you have the best short yardage running back in the NFL, statistically wise, on fourth down and third down and short, and you have a play call that is so critical to your season and for the rest of the year that you don't have the audacity to even put him on the field? You have him on the sideline. You're telling everybody, all 18 million people that are watching, everybody on the field, on both sidelines, in the stadium, out of the stadium, football lovers, football haters, you're telling everybody, hey, we're passing the ball. And you know what happens? Great defensive coverage and drops. That's what happens. And the Kansas City Chiefs lost this game because of that. I fully believe if we either punt that ball or we convert that fourth down with Kareem Hunt running the ball, we win the game. I guarantee you. Because the Texans' offense hadn't done anything. Because Chris Jones, like I said I was going to talk about him later, I'm talking about him now. Chris Jones was a game wrecker. He came out, it was in that second quarter. He was kind of warming up. You could see it. He's like, oh, this guy's starting to get out. First drive for the Texans coming out of that second half. Oh, my goodness. Chris Jones, just game wrecker. I haven't seen Chris Jones be a game wrecker like that in a long time. I really haven't. Most of the time, I just see him kind of standing around. Came out those first three plays, bang, he was on it. He was really good. Came out like the rest of the second half, he was just all over C.J. Stroud, and he almost got a sack really late in the game. He did get a sack, but he almost had another one late in the game where C.J. Stroud ended up throwing a good pass, and all's well that ends well. Anyways, Houston, our defense held that Houston offense, and that offense got life back when they had two drives within our 40-yard line to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, with that all being said, the Chiefs, they're 6-7. I don't even want to hear the memes. They're 6-7. They're probably not making the playoffs. It's still possible. Everybody's acting like they're already eliminated. I'm gonna ride it out till it's over. They can still make the playoffs. It's very possible. I say very. It's a 16% chance. But with that being said, I'm just gonna move on because I'm frustrated. I can't. Chargers, Eagles. This game was interesting. Jalen Hurts turned the ball over twice on one play. There was 3 turnovers on one play. Jalen Hurts throws an interception to Tear Tart, the defensive tackle. Tear Tart then gets the ball punched out. He fumbles. Jalen Hurts goes, ooh, ball. He picks up the ball. Then he gets the ball punched out and fumbles. And then the Chargers recover the ball. So, yeah, that was interesting. The game did go in overtime. The Chargers ended up winning the defensive battle there in overtime. Jalen Hurts, terrible in the air. He had 4 interceptions. Saquon Barkley, finally, we're starting to see an identity on the offense. 20 carries, 122 yards, a rushing touchdown. Fantastic day for Saquon Barkley. A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 100 yards. Not bad, other than Jalen Hurts turned the ball over 5 times. So, Justin Herbert coming back out of injury. 12 for 26, 139 and 1. Didn't play amazing, but just played good enough for the Chargers to win. That's what I'll say. Chargers, look out next week, because if the Chiefs are at all motivated to try and make the postseason, you're going to get smacked. Or you'll beat us by like 3 points, and we'll ride off into the sunset with a losing record. Chargers, you didn't do bad. Vidal, I love this guy. I forgot my phone wasn't connected. But with that all being said, fantastic week of everything that happened. So let's just recap just really quickly. Detroit beat Dallas. Pittsburgh beat Baltimore. Jacksonville at home beat Indianapolis. New Orleans on the road beats Tampa Bay in a shocker. Miami on the road beats New York in a blowout. Minnesota and 9 getting it back together with the Commanders. Tennessee Titans roll into Cleveland and roll out with a W. Baltimore and Cincinnati make snowmen and have a snowball fight back and forth, and Buffalo ends up winning because they're used to the snow. Seattle Seahawks and Atlanta Falcons, the duel of the birds, and the Falcons got eaten because they were too close to the sea. Denver Broncos almost get caught by the Raiders. The Los Angeles Rams, stamp on the Arizona Cardinals. The Chicago Bears can't escape the cheese. Houston dominating the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs' defense dominated that second half, and with poor coaching decisions. And finally, the Los Angeles Chargers shock the Birds and win in overtime at home in a thrilling game with 8 total turnovers. Excuse me. With all that being said, let's move on to predictions. Now, I will say, later on this week, or this weekend, whenever I feel like releasing it, maybe it might be next week, I've got a bracket video coming out. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be coming out. Who knows when? It's college football, of course. I'll also do one with the NFL whenever it gets settled and everything and whatnot. But first, let's get into these picks. So, Falcons, Bucks. I will say neither team looked good. But I will pick Tampa Bay just because I trust Baker Mayfield more than Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I don't care that I don't have internet. Just let me do this. Cleveland Browns, Chicago Bears. I'm going to pick the Bears. If you want a chance, you better win this game at the first seed. If you want the first seed, I think the first seed's out of reach unless you beat Tampa Bay. Unless you beat the Packers next week, it'll be. Ravens, Bengals. I'm picking the Bengals. I trust their offense way more than the Ravens right now. And Joe Burrow's back. So who knows what could happen. Chargers, Chiefs. It's at Kansas City. Chiefs need a dub. Even though most people are picking the Chargers, the Chiefs are favored. I'm going to pick the Chiefs because I'm a homer. Bills, Patriots. This one's crazy. So if it was at Buffalo, I would pick the Bills immediately. Just because it's at Buffalo. Even though the Patriots beat them at Buffalo this year, and that's why I'm going to pick the Patriots, even though they're the least picked. They are the favored. Or technically both teams are favored. How's that even? I don't know. Patriots, better record, better football team, in my opinion. Not a better quarterback, because Drake May is interesting. Give me the Patriots. Commanders, Giants. This one's really a toss-up. Just give me the Giants. I feel like I don't know who their quarterback is. Hopefully it's not Jackson Dart because he got murdered last Thursday. Just kidding. Nobody died. But Jackson Dart got hit really hard in the Patriots game last Monday, I guess it was. I don't know did they have a bye week? Who had a bye week? I'm sorry, I'm getting off task. Yeah, they did have a bye week. Carolina, New York, New England, and San Francisco all had byes. So, yeah, Jackson Dart, I hope you're not starting because same logic with the Commanders over here. You have 2 wins. You're not making the playoffs. You found your rookie quarterback that is pretty good. Don't start him. But what do I know, right? Like, what do I know? I'm just a kid in Kansas. Las Vegas Raiders and Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to pick the Eagles. They're 98% picked. Eagles, if you lose this game, I'm going to laugh in your face. If you did, you don't even deserve to make the playoffs, and you're still going to, unless Dallas, they step up. Jags, Jets. Give me the Jags. They're on a roll. They're going to beat the Jets. The Jets suck. They don't have a competent quarterback. Who knows? Maybe Brady Cook is that guy. Arizona Cardinals, Houston Texans. Give me the Texans. They're rolling. They have the second best defense in the NFL, just behind the Legion of Boom Part 2 in the Seattle Seahawks. Or is that the New England Patriots? I don't know. The Seahawks are good, but the Texans have a good defense, and the Cardinals' offense is terrible. Jacoby Brissett, who knows? He might throw 40 completions this game. I don't know. Green Bay at Denver. Now, this game is crazy. I want to say Green Bay will win, but who knows? The Broncos might win by like 2. That's what my gut's telling me, is the Broncos are going to do something stupid because they always play the level of their opponent, and they're going to win by 2. But give me the Green Bay Packers because I want the Packers to win so bad. Go Pack, go. Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Rams. This one's a close one. Give me the Lions. I don't know if they can make the postseason because the NFC is so dang compact. But give me the Lions because we need them to win. I don't know why. I just want the Lions to win, and the Rams are good, but I mean, if Jahmyr Gibbs scores, mark my words, if Jahmyr Gibbs scores a rushing touchdown or any touchdown for that matter, if he scores a touchdown in the first half, Detroit is winning this game. If it doesn't happen, they're not winning. Carolina Panthers, I'm picking the Panthers. They're in the line of sight of winning in the playoffs or going to the playoffs. And if they win and the Bucks lose, they get in the playoffs. So there you go. Titans, Niners. If the Niners don't win by 20 points, they're fraudulent. Colts, Seahawks. I'm going to pick the Seahawks, even though, by the way, my news for the week, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is coming out of retirement. Who knows if he's going to play Sunday? I don't think he will, but if he does, he might get killed by the Seahawks defense. God rest your soul, Phillip Rivers. Seahawks winning big. Dallas, Minnesota. Dallas, if you don't win this game, I could see this. I could see this playing out in my head right now. It's like Dallas rolling in. They're like, all right, we're going to beat the Vikings. And then all of a sudden, after Justin Jefferson not even having 100 yards receiving after the last 3 or 4 weeks total is going to have like an 8 reception, 220-some yard game with like 3 touchdowns, and they beat the Cowboys. That would be nuts. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But who knows? It's the NFL. I mean, Phillip Rivers, a 44-year-old grandpa with 10 kids and a daughter that's married and a high school football coach who's got a successful team where his son's a quarterback, and I could go on and on about this all day, hasn't played since 2020, 5 years ago, and was a he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, like inductee, potentially, because he was in like the semifinal rounds or however they decide who's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's coming out of retirement, so who knows? Anyways, Miami Dolphins, Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. I trust their run defense, whatever. How many points will be scored in the Dolphins-Steelers game? Just give me 64 points. I mean, whatever. I mean, the Steelers could score 30. The Dolphins have been scoring 30, so... with that all being said, I appreciate y'all tuning in this week. It's been kind of rough for me the last couple weeks and everything with uploading videos and trying to make sure I get finals done and everything. And so, yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. But I will see you later.